Hello. Today's topic is what causes stress. The World Health Organization calls stress the health epidemic of the 21st century. Yeah, if you ask most people how they are, yeah, like, hey, how are you doing? Most people will answer, I'm busy, I'm busy. And the way they already say it and their tone of voice is already very stressed. And there are a couple of yeah sites and recommendations where how you should be dealing with stress, but not many are dealing with what is causing the stress and what is stress actually. In my opinion, stress is a disconnect between where you thought you would be and where you actually are with your life, your business, your health, your career. So there's this discrepancy between where you are and where you thought you would be. So these things that difference causes a tension between because I want to be here, but I'm here. But a simple example what causes stress is if you are driving with your car and you have a meeting, let's say at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you leave your house enough time to be on time with your meeting, but suddenly you get into a traffic jam because there has been an accident. And it already becomes clear that you cannot be on time in your meeting. So that immediately causes stress because there's this difference. It's like, hey, I need to be at 10 at my meeting. Hey, but I cannot be there on time. So that creates stress. And this is just a simple example, but I think it's a simple example which we experience all day, every day. But there are more structural causes of stress because the stress of the traffic jam will disappear. Yeah, when the traffic jam disappears and you have phoned your client that you will be a little bit later, so there's no problem. So in the afternoon, you already forgotten that you had the stress in the morning. But there is more stress at more structural level because most people experience stress throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the weekend, all the time. And I think that basically three causes of stress, three root causes of stress, which we all experience in one form or another. The first one is the stress of not being good enough. Because our main institutions are suppressing our capabilities, and they always, the way they want to condition you, the way they manipulate you to do what you want them to do, they always tell you like it's not good enough, you're weak there, you made a mistake, it's not good enough. So the stress there is pushed by what I call a fear of loss. Stress is actually fear. It's the fear of losing your position or losing your status or losing your job, maybe, or losing your husband or whatever. So that fear is driving you. And because always people say, you are here, but you're not good enough, that creates structural tension. And all our main institutions are using that as a technique to manipulate you. In the next week, I will talk about how to do that. The second cause of stress is the feeling that you're not being seen, not literally, but as a matter of speech. You have a need, everybody has a need for attention and to be seen for who you really are. But everybody's so busy with his own life that you forget that with almost 8 billion people on this planet, so there's a need to be seen. And so if you're not feeling seen, that creates this fear of rejection. It's like, hey, they're not seeing me. I don't count. I must be not important to them. So again, this tension between you want to be seen, but you are not seen. The third cause of stress is stress which is caused by the transition in which we are as a society, the transition from what I call the industrial age to the connection age, and we're into these times of rapid change at all kinds of levels, and you have fear about the future, or you fear about the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether you can keep your house or your mortgage or your job, or yeah, that creates a lot of stress because there's this huge shift in society. Yeah, so you have this need that you want to know what's happening and how it's going to impact you, but you don't know. So again, that difference creates a tension. And it's that gap, and the larger the gap, the bigger the tension. But just a small gap, you can deal with it. But if it becomes larger, it becomes very hard to deal with. And it's at the structural level because all of our main institutions, work, education, marriage, all of the government, all of the main institutions are using these, well, to make you do what they want you to do. So now you might say, okay, now I understand that and I can see or feel in myself that I got these problems. So how are we going to deal with that? Basically, there are three solutions to each one of those root causes of stress. If you're not being good enough, you have to understand that it's just a way to trick you, a way to manipulate you, a way to condition you. So the moment you understand that, then you can remove the conditioning and say, it's not that I am not good enough, it's just the way that it's kind of a management technique to make me do what they want me to do. It's not that I, as an individual, as a unique person, am not good enough. It's just a way, well, yeah, it's a trick. It's basically a trick. So once you remove that conditioning, you can be free. You can even laugh about it. The second one of not being seen is that you put your, like I said in a previous video about the external locus of control. You put the control outside of that because you want people outside of yourself to see you and to give attention and approval and give you compliments and whatever. But the real key to feeling good is to show self-compassion, to be kind to yourself, to accept yourself, to be appreciative and grateful for yourself. It starts with you and me. So the moment you show self-compassion, you become totally less and even independent of other people. So that's not going to make you feel terrible every time someone is not saying, or sending you a like on Facebook. The third one that move the shift in our society, which creates a lot of stress in many people. The way to deal with that is to work with lifelong learning. Again, we have been conditioned that learning stops when you're 20, 25, when you finish school or your higher education. Then basically you're learning. You have some courses at work or whatever, but basically your learning stops. That's a completely wrong concept. You need to keep on learning throughout your life. And that can be fun, as long as you follow your curiosity. So actually I developed a new training to help you to deal with the stress and work out more in detail how to do that and how to do that in a sustainable way. So if you look at the description, there's a link to my new training. Then yeah, I'll be happy to see you there and help you further to deal with stress in your life. Okay. Thank you very much and talk to you next week.